Most people believe that pleasure during intimacy only comes from one place. But what if I told you that the human body has several pathways to deep sensation, and one of the most overlooked areas is something many couples barely explore? In fact, when partners understand how the body responds to gentle attention and emotional connection, some women can experience incredibly powerful sensations through the chest and breast area alone. And for many couples, discovering this can completely change the way they approach intimacy. Because real intimacy isn't just about physical contact, it's about awareness, patience, and learning how to truly connect with another person's body and emotions. Today we're going to talk about something that surprises many people when they first learn about it. The idea that the breast area, when stimulated with care and understanding, can become a powerful center of sensation. But this isn't about tricks or shortcuts. It's about understanding the body, building anticipation, and creating a deeper connection between partners. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this area is so sensitive, how emotional connection affects physical response, and several thoughtful ways couples can explore this kind of intimacy together. Because when partners learn to slow down and pay attention to each other, even the simplest touch can become a powerful experience. To understand why this is possible, we first need to talk about the connection between the body and the brain. The breast and nipple area contains a large number of nerve endings that connect directly to the brain's sensory cortex. This is the region responsible for processing touch, pleasure, and emotional response. In fact, brain imaging studies have shown something fascinating. When this area is stimulated, the brain activates regions that are also involved in other types of intimate pleasure. This means the brain can interpret those signals in surprisingly intense ways. But here's the important part many people overlook. The brain itself plays the biggest role in how pleasure is experienced. If someone feels tense, distracted, or emotionally disconnected, the body naturally becomes less responsive. However, when someone feels relaxed, desired, and emotionally safe, the brain amplifies physical sensations dramatically. This is why intimacy is not just about technique, it's about creating an environment where both partners feel comfortable, respected, and connected. When those emotional conditions are present, the body becomes far more responsive to touch. So let's explore several principles that can help couples approach this area of intimacy in a more thoughtful and connected way. The first principle is something surprisingly simple. Slow down the moment. One of the most common mistakes couples make is rushing into stimulation too quickly. But the body responds far more strongly when anticipation builds gradually. Instead of focusing immediately on the most sensitive areas, try allowing the moment to unfold naturally. Gentle touches across the shoulders, back, arms, or waist help the body relax and become more aware of sensation. These subtle touches signal to the nervous system that the experience is safe and pleasurable. As relaxation grows, sensitivity increases. By the time attention shifts toward the chest area, even the lightest touch can feel significantly more powerful. In many ways, anticipation is one of the most powerful parts of intimacy. The second principle is using light and varied touch. The skin responds differently depending on how it is touched. Sometimes the softest touch can create the strongest sensation. Using fingertips, soft strokes, or gentle circular movements can stimulate nerve endings in subtle ways. Many people assume that stronger pressure creates stronger sensations, but that's not always true. The nervous system often responds more intensely to delicate stimulation because it activates surface nerve endings more precisely. Variety also plays an important role. Alternating between soft strokes, gentle tracing motions, or slow circular patterns keeps the nervous system engaged and curious. This variety prevents the body from becoming accustomed to a single sensation. The key is remaining attentive to your partner's reactions. Their breathing, body language, and subtle movements often reveal whether the sensation feels pleasant. Observation and curiosity are essential parts of intimacy. The third principle involves something that many couples underestimate: emotional anticipation. Pleasure is deeply connected to emotional context. Simple things like eye contact, affectionate words, or genuine compliments can significantly enhance physical sensations. When a person feels appreciated and desired, the brain releases chemicals associated with bonding and relaxation. These chemicals increase sensitivity to touch and make the entire experience feel more meaningful. In other words, emotional intimacy strengthens physical intimacy. When partners feel emotionally close, even gentle touches can feel incredibly powerful. Anticipation is not just physical, it's emotional and psychological as well. The fourth principle is synchronizing with breathing. This might sound simple, but it can be surprisingly powerful. Breathing patterns influence the nervous system. Slow breathing helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxation and pleasure. When partners become aware of each other's breathing rhythms, they naturally create a sense of connection. Touch that follows the rhythm of breathing often feels more natural and soothing. Imagine gentle stimulation that flows with each slow inhale and exhale. This shared rhythm creates a moment where both partners feel present and connected. In many cases, this calm state allows the body to experience sensation more deeply. The fifth principle is combining gentle pressure with soft motion. Once the body is relaxed and responsive, slightly firmer touch can sometimes enhance sensation. However, balance is important. Alternating between light strokes and slightly deeper pressure keeps the nervous system engaged. Slow circular movements, gentle squeezing, or tracing patterns can stimulate different nerve endings. This variation creates layered sensations that build gradually over time. Instead of overwhelming the body with intensity, the goal is to create waves of sensation that rise and fall naturally. This approach allows the experience to develop slowly and comfortably. The sixth principle is paying attention to feedback. Every person experiences pleasure differently. What feels wonderful for one person may feel neutral for another. This is why communication plays such an important role in intimacy. Feedback doesn't always need to be verbal. Body language often reveals a lot. Relaxed breathing, leaning closer, or subtle movements can indicate enjoyment. At the same time, open communication allows partners to guide each other toward what feels best. Healthy intimacy grows when both people feel comfortable expressing their preferences. Curiosity and patience are key. Finally, the seventh principle is creating a relaxed emotional environment. Pleasure is strongly influenced by mood and comfort. Soft lighting, a calm environment, and the absence of distractions can make a huge difference. When the mind feels relaxed, the body becomes far more receptive to sensation. Stress and distraction, on the other hand, can reduce sensitivity dramatically. Creating a peaceful atmosphere signals to the brain that it's safe to relax and enjoy the moment. This emotional environment can transform ordinary touch into something much more meaningful. But perhaps the most important thing to remember is that intimacy is not about achieving a specific outcome. It's about shared experience. The most meaningful moments between partners often happen when both people feel present, respected, and connected. When couples approach intimacy with curiosity rather than pressure, they discover new ways to understand each other. Touch becomes more than physical stimulation, it becomes communication, a way of expressing affection, appreciation, and emotional closeness. When partners truly pay attention to each other, even small gestures can feel incredibly powerful. In many ways, intimacy is like a conversation between two bodies. It's about listening, responding, and exploring together. And when couples learn to slow down and appreciate those moments, they often discover that the simplest touches create the deepest connection. The human body contains many pathways to pleasure and emotional bonding. But the true secret to meaningful intimacy isn't found in any single technique. It's found in patience, respect, and genuine care for another person. When partners create an environment of trust and understanding, physical touch naturally becomes more powerful and meaningful. Because in the end, intimacy isn't about rushing toward a goal. It's about learning how to truly connect, explore, and share those moments together. And sometimes the most memorable experiences come from slowing down and simply being present with the person you care about.